What's up, guys? Welcome to Wellness Talks with Lolo at the Freedom Project Academy. So today let's talk about somatics. What in the world is somatics in the first place? Well, it's important to understand that the word soma means of the body. It comes from an ancient term, and the Greeks believed that the soma was the collection of the mind, body, and spirit. And so when we are discussing somatic healing, somatic therapy, somatic movement, somatic breath work, anything with the word somatic in front of it, we're talking specifically about the alignment and the connection of the mind, body, and spirit. Some businesses, some interpretations just stick with mind and body. Here at the Freedom Project Academy and LS Wellness Solutions, mind, body, and spirit. And the reason for that is because I believe that you cannot separate the three. We are three in one. We are mind, body, spirit. We cannot. Let me rephrase this. Quite often we do live in our heads. How many times have you gone throughout the day and not paid attention to the way that you felt? Or maybe you felt a certain way and didn't want to, so you dissociated from the feeling. How often have you spent the day, how often have you spent the day ruminating about things in the past, going over and over in your head, what I could have said, what I should have said, what I should have done, what I could have done, what needed to have happened, going back and forth with memories and shoulda, woulda, couldas, or you're anxious and worried about something in the future, what might happen, what could happen, what needs to happen, what will happen, so forth and so on. Take your pick. When we're doing that, we are spending so much time up in our heads, and we are literally disconnected from what's happening in the moment. Whether it's our actual tasks or just the feeling in our body. How many times, okay, let me rephrase this. Me personally, I can tell you that. Me personally, I have, it's probably not a good thing to admit, but I will anyway. There have been way too many times when I've gotten in the car and gone somewhere, gotten to where I was going, and realized I had zero memory whatsoever of how I got from point A to point B. No memory of the drive. Because the whole time I was on autopilot, I was just driving, thinking the whole time. Totally not with my body. That's just a very real life example of what it's like to be disconnected. So the way that we fix that is we do practices that integrate the three together and align them through physical breath work, physical activities, and awareness. Here at the Freedom Project Academy, we do a lot with awareness. Because if you think about what I just shared with you, what was missing? The whole time, awareness is what was missing. There are, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, different types of somatic exercises. Somatic breath work is a practice in which we use the breath to anchor and fulfill different processes in the body to release emotions, feel our body and connect with it release trauma, become aware of what our body is doing and what it needs, specifically what it needs, and tuning into the innate intelligence of what this body offers. Our bodies are so intelligent. It knows exactly what it needs, but too often we're not listening. When we're in our heads, we think we know everything that there is to know about our bodies. Quite often, sometimes we know that we don't know. But, okay, I'm hungry. So I go to the kitchen and I just grab whatever it feels like I want to eat, whatever craving I have. Well, a craving typically is a misinterpretation in our mind. When we tune into our bodies and we really listen intuitively, we can decipher the actual need that our body is asking for instead of the end result of the craving. And what I mean by that is when we have somatic awareness, we are listening. The body needs certain elements, certain minerals, certain nutrients all the time. We know this. That's why we eat. But too often we are accustomed to our modern day society and our modern day way of doing things. And so we think when we're craving sugar or salt or something specific like I don't know, I'm craving a donut because I crave donuts a lot. Let's say I'm craving a donut or chocolate cheesecake or cheeseburgers. We actually are craving the nutrients within those specific foods, like magnesium or potassium or L-theanine or different elements and different nutrients that our mind thinks we're going to get from that food. But if we know the intuitive eating chart and we know what those cravings actually mean, then we can give our body what it needs for, what it's asking for. But if, like I said, in today's modern society, we've been disconnected from that. So again, coming back to the mindfulness of our body and the breath work, it gives us the opportunity to listen. So one of the things that we need to understand is what can somatic healing, breath work, movement, all these things, what can somatic therapy do for us? And so first we need to understand what's happening in the body. We are constantly holding on to tension when we have unprocessed emotions, unprocessed trauma, negative thoughts and beliefs, negative energy trapped in our body. We tend to tense up and hold on to that. And so somatic therapy can help you get in, like I said, reconnect to the body, bring your mind, body, spirit back into alignment, and release the tension that we're holding on to. Think about your day-to-day life. We are always collecting stress as we go throughout the day. It's just a matter of life, especially in today's modern society. Everything is so fast-paced, we don't have time to process every single moment. Whereas if you think back to, antiquity and, way back in history, before modern times, whatever you want to call it, even like before electronics, life was one thing, one moment to the next. It was not as stressful as it is today. And now we're bombarded with news and you open your phone and it's constant distraction. Even just driving down the road, there's constant distractions with billboards and just everything. There's never just solid peace in your natural daily life, unless you have intentionally created an environment for that to be the case. If you are not intentional about it, you're going to be bombarded with distraction and stress and angst and negativity and all the things. Just stress from day-to-day life can interfere with our daily expression of who we are and how we show up in the world. So some physical manifestations of stress, trauma, trapped emotions, all those things, negative energy are, like I said, physical tension and fatigue and digestive issues. How many of us have experienced unexplained digestive problems? Pain in the gut, just sick and icky feeling, fullness when you haven't eaten, irregularity, constipation, diarrhea. The bowels themselves are irregular, like maybe they're not sufficient, they're not the right consistency, they're not the right size, too little, too much, too thin, too thick, things like that. Too runny, too soft, too hard, whatever. As well as like reflux. I know me personally, when I am upset, one of the first things that happens to me is nausea and reflux. And when I focus on the somatic awareness to understand what my body is doing, how it's responding, and why, I can then perceive the answer as to how to fix it and how to correct the issue without having to use medication. And I can also incorporate herbal medicines to soothe that problem so that I'm not putting chemicals and what I think are poisons into my body when the earth literally has everything that we have ever needed. Modern medicine is just that, it's modern. We didn't have it for eons, millennia, until recently. So why do we need it now when everything worked perfectly fine before? I'll tell you why. It's because of Big Pharma. So somatic healing can come in the form of stretching, certain yoga positions and sequences, movements. It can look like gentle touch from a facilitator and breathing in particular patterns, particular rhythms, and methods of inhaling and exhaling according to the intention that you set behind the breath. It can come in the form of mental awareness and connection to your existence and your mindfulness. So sometimes meditation and mindfulness actually overlap with somatic therapies, and sometimes I don't even know exactly where one ends and the other begins, because so often with mindfulness meditation, I am centering and focusing on the breath and the way that it feels in the body and what those feelings represent in terms of emotions and mental clarity and thoughts, which is exactly what somatic awareness is. When you are in the in a when you're in a workshop or a somatic awareness session, I will guide you with particular cues that inform you of exactly kind of where to put your thoughts, things to pay attention to. I'm cueing your mind to explore and consider ways that you might be thinking or feeling, or things that might be in the dark that it's a good time to look into while you are in your breathwork journey or your breathwork session, or your meditative awareness moment. So things like exploring what an emotion might show up as in a physical sensation. With somatics, we are exploring the idea that we often operate from a top-down approach in our modern time. So, like I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of times we start in our heads. We spend time in our head and then we kind of work our way down into the body later and we don't connect the two. With somatic awareness and somatic breathwork therapy, all these things, we're operating from a bottom up approach. When we're working on a somatic awareness practice, you're going to first notice your physical sensations, and then those physical sensations will then generate a emotion connected to that feeling. Well, that emotion connected to that feeling then gives you a thought and a story. What is the story associated with the emotion that's associated with the physical feeling that is present during an event? So see how we did like we starting with the action or event, then the sensation, then the emotion, then the narrative or the story, and that narrative or that story has a belief attached to it. So whether the belief was first or the belief is formed, either way, the belief is attached to the entire experience. So when we are trying to process an emotion, process a belief or an experience or something that we're going through, a stress, traumatic experience, when we're processing, we have to look at all these different components. And when you're doing somatics, you are doing just that. You're processing through that filter, that linear filter of, okay, why do I believe this thing? Well, this you're thinking, okay, what happened? This thing happened. And when this thing happened, I had this physical feeling. When I had this physical feeling, I then felt this emotion from that physical feeling. That physical feeling and that emotion, the story in my head was XYZ. And I believe yada, yada, yada because of XYZ. I'll give you an example of this. I am currently feeling, I am sitting here recording this video and I am currently feeling a tightness in my chest. This tightness in my chest is giving me a feeling of frustration and urgency. That feeling, that emotion of frustration and urgency is that the story in my head from that is that I need to get this done quickly and I need to get it done clearly and I need to release this so that I can provide it to my listeners and my clients. And the belief with that is that if I don't, then I'm falling behind and I am not keeping up with my own goals and I am falling short of my wishes and my needs for my business. So see how that works. These things are important for everyday life. That is just one example. Just one real life example. You might be sitting there and let's take being in the traffic, because we all have those lovely experiences in the car where you are going to where you need to be. Let's say you're going to work, okay? You're heading to work and there's a traffic jam. A traffic jam happens. Now I am feeling tense and my arms are getting tense and I am feeling hot. That's a sensation. So I'm feeling hot. I'm feeling sweaty. My heart is pounding. The emotion with this is anger and frustration and maybe a little bit of angst. And the story in my head is that if I don't, is that I have to get to where I'm going. These people are in my way and I am angry because they are They are here and they shouldn't be, and I should be in the front of this traffic jam so I can get to where I need to go because I'm more important than this traffic jam. That's the story that you might have in your head. Now, the belief with that is, it could be, I'm more important. It could be, I'm going to be late and I'm going to get in trouble. It could be any number of things. But if you don't look at each aspect of this scenario and you don't look at each piece separately, what you might experience is a rush of an emotion, a rush of angst and frustration and anger with no clear story as to why you're feeling that, other than you just know you're in a traffic jam and you're angry. But when you look at each piece, you're able to give yourself grace. You're able to change the story. When you actually identify it, you're able to change it. So you might say, hey, there's a traffic jam. I'm feeling hot. I'm feeling tense. I'm feeling my heart is pounding. The story in my head was that these people are in my way and I need to be in the front so I can get to where I'm going, and my need is more important than this traffic jam. That's what the story was. But I'm going to change that story and I'm going to say, I have an opportunity to sit still. I have an opportunity to show grace and be patient. I have an opportunity to take some deep breaths and know that what needs to be will be. When you can change that story, you can influence your physical sensation. You can influence the emotion. So you've got this back and forth, this ebb and flow communication between your head and your physical experience. And you can break apart the tightness, the tightly bound beliefs, and those things that are keeping you wound up and in a negative energetic state. You have the opportunity to invite gratitude and peace and calm, and invite positivity, and invite that other way of thinking about something. And that's something that we do a lot in the Freedom Project, is we take your experience, your mindset, your thoughts, whatever. We say, okay, how can we look at this differently? What is another way that I can look at this that is going to release me from this negative state? And that's all that somatics is. Now, a couple ways that you can incorporate setting a tone for the day using somatic awareness is you can just do gentle stretching. Beginning your day with the gentle stretches that release the tension that maybe you had the day before, just waking your muscles and your cells and getting your nerves and everything firing with a positive intention in the morning is a great way to set the tone for the rest of the day. Paying attention to the areas that might be exceptionally tight or tense and breathing into those areas. Now, I love doing what we call the Heaven and Earth daily practice, where we take 30 breaths of the activating activating pattern, and then we do 30 breaths of the calming and gentle pattern, which I have in another video. I love doing this Heaven and Earth daily practice because it really does just set the tone for your body to remember its parts of, when I'm under stress, this is what needs to be done. It is just repatterning, retraining your brain of the way that it can handle stress, emotions, negativity in a healthy and positive way. Mindful movement is another thing that you can do each moment. Each morning. When you have your stretching and your breath work, you can move in ways that are informing your mind of how you want your energy to move. So just like Tai Chi, moving that energy with a gentle ebb and flow and balancing that energy first thing in the morning with, like I said, that intention. When God, intentions are everything. When you are able to put your intentions out into the world and honestly stand behind them with truth and conviction, your world changes. And this mindful movement, like Tai Chi, moving this energy, it promotes balance and grounding so you can enter the day like a freaking superhero. Like, put on your cape, because when you do this practice first thing in the morning, I'm telling you, nothing can move you. I know I can, people around me especially can tell when I've not done this. I can tell when I have done it and when I haven't done it. And it shows up. It's how you show up in the world. It Your entire physiology changes according to the way that you think, the way that you manifest your energy in your body, the way that you process things, your habits. You know, a mentor of mine once gave a really awesome quote. It is, "We are what we repeatedly do, not what we do sometimes." And I think it's really profound and really powerful. When we do something repeatedly, like these meditative movements and somatic awareness and and the breath work, we become that gentle, calm uh, person that can return to that very easily when we get upset, when we get disrupted. We have that basically sitting in our back pocket to come right back to. It's right there, fresh and ready for us every time, because we've practiced it. We've done it a lot, just like a fire drill. Every time we do fire drills or any kind of drill, think about the military. They do things over and over and over and over and over so that it's second nature. Any practice, any habit, anything that any athlete, think about how much athletes train. They do the same thing over and over and over and over so they don't have to think about it. Their body just does it, just like that. This is the exact same thing. It is a practice. That's why it's called that. So, with that, throughout the day, if you can engage in periodic check-ins, as I like to call them. So doing body scans. So just stopping literally like in the middle of the day. Right now it's 12 o'clock. As soon as I finish this video, I am going to do my own personal check-in for the day. I'm going to do a body scan where you just scan the body and see if there are any areas that need your attention. As I mentioned, we spend so much time in our heads that we're not checking in with ourselves. We're dissociating, and we ignore our bodies when sometimes they need a little bit of attention. Maybe you need to relax your shoulders. Maybe you need to relax your stomach. Maybe you're holding it in because you're tense. I remember very specifically, I was given the opportunity to speak with a young lady that was very disturbed, and her troubles were outside of my scope. But my conversation with her, I was holding my stomach so tightly from talking to her in response to her voice, because she was very restricted, and so I responded with restriction. And I held my stomach so tightly during that hour-long conversation that when I got off, it took me hours for that tense sensation in my stomach to be able to relax. And it took me constantly reminding myself, okay, relax your belly, relax your belly. Even into the night, I had to continuously remind myself to relax my belly because my soma was so affected by this girl's story. And I was so affected by the fact that it was more than what I could offer her. I could offer her some things, but she really needed much more help than what I could provide in the realm of like psychotherapy and that kind of thing. So all that to say that we need to do those check-ins because there might be areas of our body that we need to relax that we're not even paying attention to because we're just carrying so much with us. The way that we respond to things throughout the day, every single day. So take a check-in. You can do some grounding techniques. When you're doing that check-in, just ground. Use your breath as a clearing, or excuse me, as a grounding tool. Use it as a clearing tool too in our breath work, but use the breath as a grounding anchor to find connection to the earth and find connection to the energy around you so that you can observe your oneness with it. And the what that does for your personal energy is it's phenomenal because you're able to kind of balance and co-regulate with your environment, and it brings you a sense of comfort. So if you're having a stressful day, doing these grounding techniques, like just firmly planting your feet on the ground and visualizing the connection between your body and the earth, visualizing where they meet and the energy that is absorbed between the two, that's shared between the connection, it can provide you rather, with a very calming, comforting sense of almost security. Then finding times to move. I know I personally, when I am sitting at a computer all day, it's very easy when I'm engrossed in what I'm doing, it's very easy to forget to move. So taking moments to just stand up like every 20 minutes or so, just stand up, stretch, move, walk around the room, break your attention for a little bit, go get a drink of water, walk around the office, go outside, get some fresh air, just every 20, 30 minutes. Because science has actually proven that you will absorb more and you will be more productive if you take little, even if it's 5 minutes, 5-10 minute breaks every 20 minutes. There is a lot of evidence that suggests that you will be more productive when you do that. So taking these movement breaks and these mental breaks, and it also helps you to release that built up tension during those 20 minutes that might have come, and it helps you restore your energy. So a lot of different scientific evidence and scientific reasons for doing these things. And in the evening, you can continue this somatic experience by doing progressive muscle relaxation. So just like a body scan. So a body scan is just going to help inform you. And then a progressive muscle relaxation is actually where you are tensing certain areas of your body and then releasing them. And it is sending signals and messages to your body to intentionally release. And when we're doing those body scans and the progressive muscle relaxations, it's like taking that body scan one step further. You might notice the tension, but this is even informing areas that you don't even notice, so that when you do tense areas that maybe you don't think are tense, when you relax, if there was tension that you didn't know was there, it's going to relax with that. So starting with maybe your ears. If you can tense your ears, I know I can, some people can't. If you maybe tensing your ears or your face and then relaxing it, or your shoulders, bringing your shoulders up to your ears and then relaxing them. Stretching your arms and tensing your arms and then relaxing them. Your hands, your fists, your belly, your buttocks, your thighs, your calves, all the way down. Different muscle groups, tensing and relaxing. And so it gives you the opportunity to release a accumulated tension that you picked up throughout the day. Two other great things for the evening are journaling. Journaling is not for everyone. I know that a lot of people just don't get anything out of journaling, but I stand firm on this that you need to at least try it. You need to try journaling. Maybe it didn't work before, but there might be times when just writing a couple of sentences can help you process things that have happened. It can help you process positive mindset. It doesn't have to be super long. It doesn't have to be extravagant, which is why I've developed this Deep Breaths. You've got this journal. It's a gratitude journal for, it's 30-day gratitude. And all it is literally just in the morning, just writing down your intentions for the day. And then in the evening, just a couple things that you're proud of. If you want to do a 5-minute journaling exercise, the space is there for it. But just 5 things that you're proud of achieving for the day. And that's it. Total for the entire day, 10 minutes. You don't even have to take that long if you don't want to. But what this does is it helps you just process those feelings and those thoughts, things that get stored in the body. So believe it or not, journaling can be a somatic experience. Soothing touch. So engaging in self-soothing techniques where you might be massaging different parts of your body or using a weighted blanket, taking a warm bath. If you have a speaker that you can set on the outside of the bathtub that that has a lot of bass, you can do vibrations in the water. Sound therapy is amazing, and those vibrations can help to settle and soothe your cells and bring them back into harmony. And there's just I'll do a whole nother video on sound therapy and sound healing, but taking a warm bath, using aromatherapy, and or essential oils in your water is really what I was trying to say. Massaging your own feet, having someone else massage your feet, being very careful though, because that is a nerve center. So you do have to be careful when you're massaging feet. And, just different ways of caring for yourself, providing yourself with compassion and love and care can do so much for your physical body, your experiences, the stories that are attached to your emotions, which are attached to your physical sensations. You can actually change these things by participating in these practices. Now, integrating somatic healing is not just about the body, it's about creating harmonious connection between the mind, the body, and the spirit. So, as I shared before, the mindfulness practices are very, very helpful in making this connection. Regular meditation practice is really helpful in to quiet the mind and create a connection between the mind and the body. So, for example, I shared before how you might want to observe the experience that you're having and the process that it goes through, up through from your body to your from your body to your emotions, to your thoughts, to your beliefs. In your meditation, first I'd like to dispel one myth. Sitting in meditation does not mean clearing your mind completely. What it means is observing your very present moment and focusing on the breath and observing your thoughts and your sensations without attachment to them, which is a really cool thing when you're able to achieve that. So it's not getting rid of everything. It's literally just observing your existence. And so when you're able to observe your existence without attachment, you can watch yourself almost like from a third party perspective, which is really cool. And what this does is it allows you to release negative energy, release negative attachments, negative emotions. And you can also use visualization during this practice. It's a technique that helps you to connect with your body and your spirit. So, visualizing healing light coming in, maybe from the top of your head or in soaking it up from your feet. I like to use the visualization of choosing your favorite color and then standing in a puddle of your favorite color, and then almost like a bounty paper towel, how a paper towel will absorb the the liquid that it stands in. Imagining that your body absorbs that color all the way from your feet up to all the way up to your crown, and then expelling your favorite color out of the top of your head, out of your crown chakra, as if to display yourself for the whole world and share your light, share who you are. That favorite color is representative of who you are, everything that you are. And so when you can absorb it all the way in, you're fully embodying who you are and all that you are and everything that you stand for and represent. And then when you release it out the top of your head, you're sharing it with the world. So everyone gets to enjoy all the really cool things about you. And this promotes peace and balance and just really positive energy. One of the things that we do when we are in a somatic breath work or a somatic healing session is release emotions. It's one of the things a lot of people think of first when they think of like holotropic breath work, which is one of the things that we do in our workshops, is these really intense release of emotions. But sometimes it's not intense. Sometimes it's very subtle. But it's important to find ways to not just release it through breath work, but find really creative ways to express your emotions, whether it's through drawing or painting, dancing. That's one of my favorite releases is dancing. When no one is home, you're going to catch me dancing all the time when nobody's home. Um, it's not just when nobody's home, but I do it when people are here too. But I actually kind of embarrass my kids when I start dancing because I shake my booty and they don't like it. But it's an expression. It's an expression of fun. It's an expression of tension, like releasing a tension. It's an expression of joy and excitement and even love. Think about what it's like when you hold in emotions. I can share that when I have been very frustrated and I hold that in, that turns into anger. When you hold in anger, frustration, anything like that, any kind of negative energy, it sits with you and it eats at you. That turns into sadness, and if that is not expressed, it will turn into depression. Letting negative emotions stay trapped literally eats you alive, and it will destroy you. Even having positive energy and positive emotions that you cannot get out and cannot express. Think about what it's like when you have something so exciting that you want to share and there's no one to share it with. And it just stays inside you and there's no expression of it. That does not feel good. Um, I can think of times when just being so excited and just the sensation of that energy, because it's moving fast. That is literal energy moving in your body and it's bouncing back and forth very, very fast. High vibrations. And when it cannot come out and it cannot be expressed, it turns into negativity. So you need to find creative ways, creative outlets for letting this energy, letting these emotions be processed and expressed. Because when we suppress, we become depressed. So that is one of the really cool things about somatic healing is expressing. And I like when we do our holotropic somatic breath works, your body knows what it needs to do. It knows how to release. We just have to give it permission. When you give your body permission to do what it innately knows how to do, there's so much innate knowledge in our body that we just don't access. We close it off. But when we open those doors and we provide permission for things to happen, it is really cool to see your body just do its thing. And that happens a lot in our breathwork sessions. But then also, like I said, doing painting or dancing or any kind of activity that allows that expression of emotion. Um, ex- Emotions that are difficult to articulate specifically, or or memories even that maybe have emotions attached to them. Expressing it is liberating, and it's a really important part of holistic health and well-being and holistic healing. Using your voice to release emotions can be singing or humming or even shouting or crying, as long as it's in a safe place. And that's what I love about what I do, is I get to hold space for you, that you get to do that. You get to have that safe space to express and release things, whether it's physically like shaking or crying or dancing or whatever, or shouting or crying or singing or laughing. The space that we hold together is sacred, and I love providing that for you and other clients. So if you are curious about learning more in the field of somatics and what we do in the Freedom Project Academy and in our workshops, I would love for you to join me at lswellnesssolutions.com, and there is information on there with the events that we have coming up, and we have some online and we have some in person as well. So I'd love for you to join me, and be sure to like and subscribe as well, because there will be more material just like this one that is designed to educate you, because that is honestly, that's really what I love to do. I just love to share what I have learned and educate the public on this information and how to use it, and the best way to bring full balance and holistic healing to your body, and not have to flood yourself with poisons and just things that make you even more sick through medicine and whatnot. So this is a really cool way to do that. So like, subscribe, and share as well, and I will see you back for the next time. Remember to take deep breaths, because you've got this.